Feeling like your body is speaking a language you can't quite decipher, especially when, PCOS and endometriosis share so many of the same frustrating symptoms,
Yeah.
you're definitely not alone. Today on the deep dive, we're going to try and cut through some of that confusion, hopefully bring you the clarity you deserve. Welcome.
It's great to be here. And yeah, that confusion is so real for so many.
Absolutely. If you've ever scrolled through endless articles, just feeling more lost than found in that maze of PCOS and endometriosis symptoms, wondering, is it this? Is it that? Could it be both?
Mm.
Know that you're in a very, very common boat. It's completely understandable.
Totally.
So our mission today really is to explore the key differences, those surprising overlaps, and what it actually means if you might be navigating both conditions.
Yeah, let's unpack it. It's quite remarkable how two conditions, which operate pretty differently underneath, can create such similar experiences for people.
Right.
So to really get a handle on it, maybe we should start by looking at each one individual.
Good idea. Let's start with PCOS.
Okay, so polycystic ovary syndrome, PCOS,
Huh.
at its heart, it's a hormonal disorder. It starts in the ovaries.
Okay. Hormonal.
Yeah, think of it like a central hormone control center that's sending out kind of mixed signals.
Mm-hmm.
And this leads to a whole cascade of effects downstream, throughout the body.
Right.
The National Institutes of Health Review points out a few key things to look for. First, irregular periods, or sometimes no periods at all. That's a big sign the cycle is disrupted.
Mm-hmm.
Second, higher levels of androgens, people often call them male hormones, though women have them too.
Right.
And when those levels are high in women, it can show up as things like, acne or maybe more hair growth than usual.
Okay.
Then there's the polycystic ovaries bit, which you can sometimes see on an ultrasound. It means lots of small follicles on the ovary.
I got so those little cysts, sort of.
Exactly. They look like cysts on the scan.
Yeah.
And finally, many women with PCOS find they struggle with weight management, maybe weight gain or difficulty losing weight, and often face fertility challenges too. So the big takeaway for PCOS, it's primarily an endocrine issue, a body-wide hormonal imbalance.
Okay, so if PCOS is this widespread hormonal ripple effect starting in the ovaries, how is endometriosis fundamentally different then? What's its mechanism?
That's a really good way to put it, ripple effect.
Yep.
Endometriosis, it works quite differently. It's generally classed as a gynecological condition.
Okay.
What happens is tissue that's similar to the lining of the uterus,
Mm.
the endometrium, it starts growing outside the uterus.
Oh, okay. So it's in the wrong place.
Exactly. Like seeds from the uterine lining got planted elsewhere in the pelvic area, sometimes even further.
Wow.
And that misplaced tissue, according to the NIH review, causes problems. The big one is often chronic pelvic pain.
Mm-hmm.
You can get especially bad just before and during your period. Many also report pain during intercourse.
Right.
And then there can be really heavy or long periods and sometimes digestive issues too, things like bloating, constipation, or even diarrhea, often linked to the cycle. And like PCOS, endometriosis can also unfortunately lead to fertility challenges.
Okay.
What's really key with endometriosis is its strong inflammatory nature.
Yeah.
That tissue being outside the uterus, it causes localized inflammation, and that's a major driver of the pain.
Okay, wow. So PCOS hormones crossed up, endometriosis misplaced tissue causing inflammation. That distinction helps. But, and this is the big but, right? This is where the confusion really kicks in. They share symptoms?
They absolutely do, and this is precisely where it gets so tricky for people trying to figure out what's going on. You mentioned feeling confused earlier.
Yeah.
It makes perfect sense when you look at the overlap. Both conditions, unfortunately, can share some really impactful symptoms. Irregular periods, that's a classic example.
Right.
The hormone chaos in PCOS can cause it, but so can the physical disruptions from endometriosis.
Okay, so cycle issues from both.
Exactly. Fertility problems, another huge area of overlap. Many individuals with either condition face that. And then there are those things that are maybe less specific, but just as real, like chronic fatigue, just feeling wiped out all the time.
Yeah.
And mood swings, anxiety, depression, mental health struggles are common with both, too.
Wow.
Because both conditions mess with hormones and the reproductive system so profoundly, it's maybe not that surprising the symptoms blur together. And that's why people feel like they're in a maze, maybe feeling unheard or even, getting misdiagnosed sometimes. It's frustrating.
It sounds incredibly frustrating. It's like trying to tell a cold from the flu. Sometimes similar feelings, different bugs, different treatments needed.
That's a great analogy.
And this leads to that really big question I know lots of listeners have.
Yeah.
Can you actually have both? PCOS and endometriosis at the same time?
Yeah, that's a critical question. And the research, well, it says yes, you can.
Okay. Wow.
Now, having both together isn't, super common compared to just having one or the other. But that NIH review confirms co-occurrence is definitely possible.
And I imagine that makes diagnosis even harder.
Oh, absolutely. It
Yeah.
can seriously complicate the diagnostic journey. Just picture it. Someone's dealing with the irregular cycles, maybe the metabolic stuff from PCOS,
Hmm.
but also experiencing that severe cyclical pelvic pain that screams endometriosis.
Right.
It becomes really, really challenging to tease apart which condition is causing which symptom, or if both are contributing to the same one.
So you could be getting treated for, say, the irregular cycles from PCOS, but still be in agony from endo that hasn't been picked up yet?
Precisely. That scenario happens.
Yeah.
And that is exactly why tracking your own individual symptoms so carefully over time is crucial.
Right.
And being really clear, really articulate about your personal experience when you talk to doctors. Your pattern is unique.
Yeah.
Developing that clear picture of your symptoms, it's such a powerful tool for advocating for yourself and getting the right care.
So important.
And if your symptoms feel complicated, it's because they might genuinely be complicated. But like you said earlier, complicated doesn't mean hopeless. Not at all.
Definitely not. Okay, so for someone listening right now, maybe nodding along, feeling like this is describing them, what's one practical thing they could do, like today, to start untangling this for themselves?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
Connecting it right back to the listener's experience now, I think a really valuable first step is just some thoughtful self-reflection.
Okay.
Take a quiet moment, ask yourself, what specific symptoms feel the most confusing for me? What doesn't quite add up right now?
Mm.
Maybe it's, bleeding that seems totally random, or pain that doesn't really match your cycle pattern, or maybe just this gut feeling that there's something more going on, even if you can't name it.
Right, that intuition.
Yeah, acknowledge whatever it is,
Yeah.
and then start documenting it. Keep a journal, use an app, whatever works. Note when symptoms happen, how intense they are, any triggers, anything relevant.
Uh-huh.
Over time, doing this consistently, patterns can emerge that you just don't see day to day.
That makes so much sense.
Remember, awareness really is power here. And that symptom log, it becomes an incredible resource for those doctor conversations. It helps you communicate clearly, specifically, and that helps move you closer to getting real answers.
That detailed record feels empowering, doesn't it? It helps you tell your story effectively. And speaking of having the right tools and support, we've talked about tracking symptoms. Are there specific resources that make that easier and maybe give personalized feedback?
Yeah, thankfully, we're seeing more resources being developed specifically for these kinds of complex health journeys. It's really good to see.
It absolutely is. And, that's where March Health comes into the picture. We're really passionate about giving you the tools you need to understand your body better and feel more empowered.
That's great.
The March Health app, it's actually designed specifically for women managing conditions just like PCOS and endometriosis.
Oh, excellent.
Inside the app, you can easily log all sorts of things: cycle irregularities, pain details, mood shifts, digestive changes, you name it.
So really comprehensive tracking.
Yeah, exactly. And based on your unique patterns that you log, the app can start offering personalized insights, kind of helping you connect the dots between different symptoms you might be experiencing.
That personalized aspect sounds really valuable.
It is, and you can get tailored recommendations for support that are relevant to what you're going through right then. So if you are looking for a way to really personalize your symptom tracking and get that kind of focused support, the March Health app could be a really powerful tool. It's about moving from that feeling of confusion towards, hopefully, much greater clarity.
That sounds like a fantastic resource. Having that dedicated platform can really shift things for people.
We think so. You really deserve that kind of care and understanding right at your fingertips.
Absolutely. It empowers you to be a much more active participant in your own healthcare journey.
Exactly. So just to kind of wrap things up a bit, we've taken this deep dive into PCOS and endometriosis. We've looked at what makes them different, where their symptoms can confusingly overlap, and we've confirmed that yes, it is possible to have both conditions at the same time.
Definitely.
And maybe most importantly, if you've been feeling confused or overwhelmed by your symptoms, please know that's completely valid. It's understandable.
So valid.
Remember, your body is always communicating. It's providing information. And you absolutely have the power, the capacity to understand its signals more clearly over time.
every little bit of understanding helps.
It really does. Every step you take towards understanding your health, no matter how small it feels, is real progress on your journey.
Well said.
And hey, if you found this deep dive helpful, maybe share it with someone else, someone who might be navigating similar complexities.
Good idea.
And definitely check out the support, the tools, and just the compassionate care that's available in the March Health app.
Sounds like a great next step for many.
Until our next deep dive, please take really good care of yourself, be kind to yourself, and stay curious about your body.
Be well, everyone.